Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has today been accused of gutter politics after personally posting an attack ad tweet which claimed Labour is on the same side as criminal gangs smuggling migrants into Britain. Well, Labour itself was accused of the same thing after a viral marketing campaign accused Sunak of not believing abusers should go to jail. And if you think we've got it bad, take a look at this conspiracy-laden video posted in America today. The video was posted by an arm's-length group which makes viral pro-Trump content, and Trump often shares their videos.
If I was the deep state and I wanted to destroy America, I would rig the election with a puppet candidate. I would create a false flag that allows for mail-in ballots. I would be in charge of the ballot counting machines. I would create a false flag to blame all who question the results of the election. I would make sure all crimes I ever committed never happened. I would prosecute my biggest competition. I would make sure they could never run for office ever again. I would push my pedophilia ambitions on you.
Well, that goes on for several minutes along the same lines. Are these the new moral battlefield of which next year's elections are set to be fought? Joining me now is political strategist and pollster Frank Luntz and Donald Trump's pastor, Mark Burns. Well, welcome to both of you. Frank Luntz, you tweeted this is the most alarming political ad you've seen this year. Why?
I still don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to respond. I was so stunned at how divisive and how negative and how it's designed to create anxiety and fear and genuine dislike and distrust of people. Piers, at some point, you have to say enough is enough. And I'll be curious to hear from the pastor when he counsels the former president, is this really who we are as a people? Is this really who we are as a country? Does this add or detract from our political discourse? It's getting worse and worse, and this ad frightened the living hell out of me, so I expect you're going to see a lot of it as a result.
Right. So, Pastor Burns, I mean, I watched it, and it just is, this is what I call rabbit hole conspiracy theory claptrap, masquerade.
I totally disagree with him here. I do. Because, again, man, we have got to understand that what they're saying in this ad, again, I mean, it's really not controversial. We understand, most people, if they're being honest, man, they understand that Joe Biden's not in charge. Again, I would be surprised if the guy can tie his shoes. I would be. But the fact of the matter is, man, yeah, he's not in charge, so somebody else is. Who is? I mean, really, come on. The guy's got dementia. There's something going on. I'm not saying that I'm a doctor. I'm not diagnosing him. But I am saying there is something wrong. There's something really wrong. And again, if you can't be honest enough, if people can be honest enough to say that, there's not something wrong with the ones that will. There's something wrong with the ones that won't. So again, Joe Biden has got a definite problem. And again, we know the established Democratic Party is, again, they're behind him. They're directing him. We know this. We know this. So again, we also know the COVID. Again, what you couldn't say on social media 2 years ago, now you can say. So again, we understand that things were manipulated. We understand that things all the time are being manipulated. I mean, they were supposed to release this stuff on JFK's assassination 10 years ago, but they wouldn't. And even Trump wouldn't. So again, we understand that we're being lied to over and over and over again. The COVID stuff, you know, the alien stuff. They're testifying that there are aliens crashing on Earth and that we have their bodies. So again, we are being lied to. We're being lied to. And you look at this video and you say, oh, the whole thing's a big conspiracy. This kind of stuff, it divides the country. No, it tells the truth. There's something going on.
I mean, surely you wouldn't defend a lot of what you heard and saw in that commercial, would you?
Well, Pierce, let me just say this. There's a reason why President Donald Trump is leading in the polls statewide. There's a reason he's leading in the polls nationally. There's a reason why he is still the front runner, even though you had all of the fraudulent indictments that are coming against them, led by the Biden and his DOJ, which has been weaponized to essentially interfere with an election. There's a reason why the American people are still choosing Donald Trump, because he is literally the modern day Julius Caesar, right? It was the senators, the elite, that killed off Julius Caesar. It wasn't the common man. Donald Trump speaks to the common man, and that's why he's having a two-tier system in America, and they're tired of it, being led by people like Joe Biden and the Biden crime family.
But Pastor, in relation to what Frank just said, is it healthy for America or American politics or American democracy that you have such a nihilistic ad like this flying around social media, such a dystopian look at the country? You know, America was built on unity, of a country that was welcoming to all, that fought together to become the greatest country on earth. This kind of thing looks to me like it's an incredibly divisive attempt to brush off everything that's negative about Trump as absolutely invented by the deep state. They're all out to get him. He's Julius Caesar. The knives are flying in his back. It could be that, you know, a lot of the stuff that Trump's been alleged to have done is completely true, and he shouldn't have done it. We'll find out in the court cases. But why would you, as his pastor, be happy for such overt negativity to be swarming around America?
Well, Frank, what is truthful, and you hit it right on the nail, that the American Revolution took place because the people came together for truth. Like, we had no representation, right, in England. So the people came together because of truth, fact. And the fact is, right now, we have a government that is pushing a DOJ to be weaponized and against Donald Trump. But number two, we are changing sexes in America. There's a reason why Donald Trump is touching the Christian community by saying that he would not allow grown men to participate in female sports. The fact that we're questioning the identity of biology, male, what is a male, what is a female, but not questioning Pfizer, not questioning the COVID vaccines that has literally done harm. That's not conspiracy. People are actually in the ground, right? That is not a conspiracy.
Well, yeah, but also, the young mother Pastor, again, Pastor,
let me finish.
Let me just interrupt.
And they died. So the American people, Piers, want truth. Okay. The American people want fact. They don't want to be killed in the dark anymore.
Yeah, they don't really want to hear. I don't think a pastor should be saying that the only thing the COVID vaccines did was put people.
Jesus himself
hang on, Pastor.
This type of
Pastor. They don't want to just. They don't want to hear.
I don't think it should.
I don't think a pastor should be saying the only purpose of the COVID vaccine.
You could not read my Bible, because Jesus himself had to deal with the Roman season. Jesus himself had to deal with those who spoke against the truth.
This is my church, not yours. I don't think
Jesus.
Let me come to Frank.
Hung on the cross because he was willing to go against the political elite of the day, because he gave the truth.
Pastor, what you've just said about COVID vaccines was not the truth. Yes, it had some adverse side effects, but yes, actually, it saved a lot of millions of people from going under the ground. Frank Luntz, what do you do when you have Donald Trump's own pastor who signs up on all this stuff and thinks that actually it's all true?
You know, Piers, man, the thing is, we understand that we have been lied to in this country. We've been lied to over and over again. I mean, the Kennedy assassination. Again, they were supposed to release that information 10 years ago, and they still won't. And again, man, even Trump wouldn't. Biden won't. And again, we have got to understand we've been lied to. We've been lied to with the COVID stuff. We've been lied to with aliens, man. Again, they're now testifying that aliens are crashing here on Earth, and we have their bodies. So again, we know we're being lied to. And again, people should be able to say whatever they want to say. And again, man, we understand. I think a majority of people, if they're truly being honest, it doesn't matter if you're right or left or whatever, you understand that Joe Biden's not in charge. You understand there's something wrong with Joe Biden. You know, again, man, Joe Biden might be in charge as a figure, but again, he's not in charge. There's something wrong with Joe Biden. And again, man, everyone who is truly being honest understands that. And again, man, Mark Burns, the pastor here, he should be able to say whatever he wants to say. He should be able to tell people that, hey, yeah, there might be benefits to the vaccine, might be, but there are also risks to taking the vaccine. And again, man, if you're a pastor of your flock or whatever, man, again, you have to tell people the truth on stuff. And again, I think you should. If that divides people, so what? Again, if the truth divides people, the truth divides people. Again, the lies right now are dividing everyone. Why can't we have truth divide people? And again, man, truth should divide people. Again, good and evil, truth should be divisive. It should be. And the thing is, man, you're telling him that because he's a pastor, basically he ought to be ashamed for, dividing people or saying this about the vaccines or whatever. Why? Again, if you're a pastor, you have people that you're, looking after. Again, why should you hold back what you have to say? Why should anyone hold back what they have to say? How do we get to any kind of truth if we hold back what we have to say? So Piers, man, the thing is, I normally agree with you. I normally agree with what you say. But here, I definitely do not.
You ask your question rather than make a statement. Is this the proper discourse that we should be having on your show? Is this the kind of behavior that we should be emulating for your children? Are these the priorities? Are our kids learning what they need to know to be successful in university, career, and life? Is this the right approach? My challenge in this is that I don't necessarily disagree with a lot of the points either raised by the pastor or raised by the ad. It's how it's done. And Piers, I've come my entire career, I've suddenly figured out that there's some things more important than election. Decency, civility, respect. These are values that a good country champions, and we're losing them in America. And one last point. We don't have to demonize each other to prove that we ourselves are correct. It doesn't require the destruction of the opposition, who are not the enemy, but the destruction of the opposition to promote the things that we promote. And here's that's what you've always stood for. And I'm sorry for this conversation because, frankly, it's an embarrassment.
You know what, man? You know what an embarrassment is? When you have the greatest country on the face of this earth, and now you're teaching that boys can be girls and girls can be boys, and drag queens ought to be able to dance in thongs in front of kids at family-friendly drag shows. You're trying to get hormone blockers for a 12-year-old. You're trying to chop the breast off a 15-year-old girl for, because she believes that she's a boy. And again, man, that's an embarrassment. This right here, man, again, an ad that was done by a group that wasn't even done by the Trump campaign. Again, that's what got you outraged. That's what is embarrassing you. What about the man in the Oval Office that has dementia, that probably can't wipe his own butt, tie his own shoe? I mean, I'd be surprised, really seriously, if you could. Again, that's not embarrassment. That's not an embarrassment to have Dylan Mulvaney at the White House, talking about, gender, you couldn't choose your gender. That's not embarrassment, but this is.
Your job as a pastor, surely, is to bring people together, not to fuel division. And when you speak, but your idea of what the truth is and mine might be different. You should be able to respect the fact that I have a different opinion to you, or that Frank does.
Listen,
or that
the reality
other people
of it
do.
is, okay, Piers, so I get all that. I hear what you're saying, but the reality of it is you're ignoring the fact that there is but two sexes in the world. There's male, there's
No,
female.
I agree with you about
right
that.
Right now, we have a society that's trying
Pastor,
to tell us otherwise.
Pastor,
that is not
you're
true.
barking up the
There's
wrong
an
tree.
actual,
Pastor,
real
I agree with you about that.
Donald Trump is fighting against. This is why he is leading in the polls. This is why he's raising money, because he is God's anointed. And I understand that the powers that be, like yourself, who are coming against. And I love Frank Lux. I love Frank, right? But Frank, of course, he, as much as I love Frank, and thanks to you, Frank, my father has got knee surgeries. You and I had a great conversation years ago. So I love you and I respect you. But you also said that Hillary Clinton was going to be the next president of the United States of America. So we know that you don't like anything MAGA, but the American people do, right? And the American people are behind Donald Trump. That's why he's leading the polls, because they know the Biden crime family has weaponized the DOJ. Listen, if we're going to talk about videos, how about you talk about DeSantis' video and his Nazi imagery? Or how about his homoerotic video that he just produced a couple of weeks ago?
We're not here to talk about DeSantis. Final word to you, Frank. Make it quick, please. We're running out of time.
I'm sorry that I did this interview, and I appreciate that the pastor likes me. This is so inappropriate for British audiences, for American audiences. And if this is the direction we're headed in, Piers, we're going to have a really bad 18 months.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. It's got to be a more civil way to debate. I totally agree, Frank.
You know what, guys, man, it shouldn't matter if you're a pastor or not a pastor or whatever. Say what you have to say. And again, man, in this country, we have freedom of speech. So again, if you believe it to be true, state it. Even if you don't believe it to be true, state it. And again, man, what they're upset about is, man, some third-party group, not even the Trump campaign, put out an ad, like this. It's not even divisive. And again, man, Joe Biden can stand up there on stage and again talk about how bad the MAGA folks are. State of the Union. He can sit there and talk about how bad MAGA folks are and how big of a threat MAGA folks are and white supremacy is and all this stuff. All this, I mean, no offense, man, fake stuff. I mean, he can say all this divisive type fake, whatever, man. He can state that. But again, some third-party group can't put an ad like that because, man, it's so divisive. Again, man, we can't be honest with the fact that, hey, over 50% of violent crime in this country is committed by black folks, less than 13% of the population. And again, 95 or 96% of black folks are Democrats. So again, I guarantee you, pretty much all the ones committing these violent crimes are Democrats. So again, we have truly got to be honest about what threats are out there and where the biggest threat is coming from. Again, we have truly got to be honest about that. But the fact of the matter is, man, the people on the left, they have no self-awareness. They want to blame everything on the right. They want to blame everything on everyone else. They're all victims. They have no self-awareness. And that really, truly is what the issue is. But hey, guys, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below.
You son of a